everyone. My name is Gabby Jones. I am a consultant with Encryption Consulting. Encryption Consulting covers all the aspects of security concerns, such as data security, key management, and privacy. Today, we're going to be discussing an interesting and basic concept in data encryption technology, public key encryption. First, we're going to look into understanding the concept of public key encryption and then what factors contribute to the success of this technique. And then finally, we're going to understand the differences between public key encryption and private key encryption. Threat landscape is increasing multifold due to the major elevation of digital age and growing importances of data. To mitigate these threats, industries are now following several data protection techniques, and encryption is one of the major technologies in the suite. Let's go over some of the types of encryption in this session. Encryption is basically of two types. One, public key encryption, and the other, private key encryption. Key plays an important role in these two types of encryption as it is used for encrypting and decrypting the sensitive data. In private key encryption, only single unique key, for example, the private key, is used for both encrypting and decrypting the sensitive content. In public key encryption, two keys, one public key and a second private key, are used for encrypting and decrypting sensitive content. So we're going to discuss in detail about public key encryption and then the major differences between the two encryption techniques. What is public key encryption? Public key encryption is one of the most popular and basic encryption techniques used for securing data, especially traveling over a network. Let's understand the basics of public key encryption now. Public key encryption, also known as asymmetric encryption, is the involvement of two keys, public and private keys. Those perform the encryption. Keys are basically a code developed to make readable messages into a gibberish text in order to protect the data from intruders and hackers. Public key, as the name suggests, is available in the public domain, and private key is kept as a secret with you. Hence, these two keys are used for encryption of the secret message. All right, and then why are we using public key encryption? What are some benefits to it? Public key encryption provides enhanced security for the secret message when compared to private key encryption because of the usage of two keys. Public key encryption is more convenient to perform as they are no hassle. They have no hassle sending your private key to the receiver, which is highly insecure. Cryptographic algorithms used in this technique are advanced and rigid. Public key encryption is highly recommended for securing small chunks of critical data. The user can perform both authentication and authorization using public key encryption. How does public key encryption work? Public key encryption works on the simple principle of convenience. The evolution of this encryption technique is because of the inconvenience in sending or transferring the private key used in symmetric encryption. So let's look at the actual workings of the technique. As you're already aware, there are two keys used in public key encryption techniques, public key and private key. Basic functionality of this technique is every user will have a pair of keys where message encrypted with one key can be decrypted by the other. As you are also aware, public keys are available to everyone and private key is secret. Sender and receiver are two parties where sender is the user with the original message and the receiver is the user expecting the message from the sender in a secure way. Both parties have their own pair of keys, public and private. Now, the sender will encrypt the secret message using the public key of the receiver and sends the message over network to the receiver. Receiver will now decrypt the message received from sender using the private key. Even though a hacker may try to intrude in the network and steal the data, it will be gibberish. It will have no meaning, no sense. Hence, authorization is achieved. The alternative to public key encryption is private key encryption. However, it has its own challenges. So, what are the major differences between public key encryption and private key encryption? As we're now aware, the two major and basic encryption technologies are private key and public key encryption. Both have their own merits and demerits while encrypting the data. Private key encryption uses a single key to encrypt and decrypt data. Hence, the chances of key compromise is higher, whereas public key encryption uses two different keys to encrypt and decrypt data. Hence, the chances of key compromise is lower in public key encryption. Private key encryption is relatively old compared to other techniques, and it is used to encrypt big chunks of data. Public key encryption is a newer technique and is used for encrypting small chunks of data. Security of data transmitted is low in private key encryption when compared to public key encryption, as there's a single key usage. And then in public key, you have the two keys that are used, which are public and private. Usual key size for keys used in private key encryption, 128 or 256-bit keys. And then public key encryption, RSA 2048-bit or higher key size. Private key encryption is a faster technique. You see it just runs a little bit faster compared to public key encryption because there's a low level of complexity involved in that. Algorithms used in private key encryption are RC4, DES, 3DES, and quad, whereas RSA, Diffie-Hellman, ECC algorithms are used for public key encryption. This is going to conclude our video for today. Thank you for watching. If you are interested in learning more about encryption in detail, please subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Be sure to give this video a like so that your algorithm is more tuned in to encryption information. Please contact us at encryptionconsulting.com if you have any questions or if you just simply want more details. Thank you.